There comes a moment in every life when things don't just go wrong. They go quiet. The phone stops ringing. The plans you were so sure about dissolve without explanation, and you're left standing there, asking yourself how something that felt so aligned could suddenly feel so distant. We're taught to see those moments as failures, as signs that we missed a turn somewhere. But what if they're not detours at all? What if they're invitations, subtle, sacred invitations calling you into a deeper conversation with yourself? Because life doesn't shout when it wants to shape you. It whispers, it slows you down. It removes the distractions so you can finally hear what's been trying to get your attention all along. Tough seasons don't arrive to punish you. They arrive to introduce you to a part of yourself you haven't needed yet. The strength you're searching for can't be downloaded or borrowed. It has to be discovered, and discovery requires discomfort. Think about it. Every meaningful transformation begins with pressure. A diamond doesn't apologize for the heat that formed it, and neither should you. When life leans on you, it's not trying to crush you. It's asking, who are you when there's nothing left to lean on? That's where character is revealed. Not in applause, not in ease, but in the quiet decision to stand up again when no one's watching. And here's the part we often miss. Hardship is not here to harden your heart. It's here to refine it. The invitation isn't to become colder, tougher, or closed off. It's to become clearer. Clear about what matters, clear about what you'll tolerate, clear about who you're becoming. When you accept that invitation, pain stops being an enemy and starts becoming a teacher. So if you're in that place right now where things feel heavy, slow, or uncertain, don't rush through it. Don't numb it. Listen. Something is being formed in you that comfort could never create. This isn't life breaking you down. It's life calling you up. After you accept that life is inviting you into something deeper, there's often a stretch that follows that feels even harder. The waiting. No signs, no confirmations, just silence. And silence has a way of making strong people uncomfortable, because it leaves you alone with your thoughts, your doubts, and the questions you hoped you'd never have to ask. We live in a world that worships movement, noise, and instant results. So when nothing seems to be happening, we assume something has gone wrong. But stillness is not a setback. It's a workshop. Some of the most important work in your life will happen in seasons where there's nothing to show for it yet. No applause, no visible progress, just quiet endurance. That's where roots grow. And if you've ever seen a tree stand through a storm, you know it's not the height that keeps it standing, it's what you can't see beneath the surface. While you're waiting, while you're wondering if you're wasting time, life is strengthening your foundation so you don't collapse when the winds finally come. Silence forces you to confront who you are without validation, without feedback, without reassurance. It asks you to decide whether you believe in your purpose when no one else is clapping. That's not easy, but it's necessary, because if your faith only works when the path is lit, it won't survive the dark. Waiting teaches you patience, but more importantly, it teaches you trust. Trust in timing, trust in growth, trust that not everything meaningful announces itself right away. And here's the truth, not every delay is denial. Sometimes it's protection, sometimes it's preparation. Life knows what you're not ready to carry yet, even when you think you are. So it holds you in place long enough to build the strength, wisdom, and humility required for what's coming next. So if you're in a quiet season, don't panic. Don't force noise where stillness belongs. Stay present. Stay grounded. Something is moving, even if you can't hear it yet. The silence isn't empty. It's loading your next chapter. When you've walked through pressure and learned to sit with silence, something begins to change inside you. You start to feel stronger. But there's a danger here, because strength, if misunderstood, can turn into hardness. And life isn't trying to turn you into stone. It's trying to turn you into something grounded, something steady, something unshakable without being closed off. A lot of people survive tough seasons by building armor. They shut down, they stop trusting, they stop feeling, and on the surface it looks like strength, but it's really fear wearing a tough face. Real strength doesn't come from cutting yourself off from the world. It comes from staying open while learning discernment. It's knowing when to let people in and when to step back, knowing when to speak and when to listen. That kind of balance only comes from experience. Life will test you not just to see if you can endure pain, but to see what kind of person you become because of it. Do you grow wiser or just more guarded? Do you develop compassion or just thicker skin? Because the strongest people in the room are often the ones who can feel deeply without being controlled by their emotions. They don't deny their wounds, but they don't let those wounds define them either. Pressure has a way of revealing what you're anchored to. If your identity is built on approval, failure will break you. If it's built on ego, setbacks will humiliate you. But if it's built on purpose, adversity will refine you. You don't need to lose your softness to gain your strength. In fact, your softness, your ability to care, to empathize, to stay human, is part of what makes your strength real. So don't confuse resilience with bitterness. Don't mistake survival for growth. Let life shape you without shrinking your spirit. Stand firm, but stay kind. Be strong, but stay open. Because the goal was never just to make it through the storm. It was to emerge with your integrity intact. True strength doesn't harden the heart, it deepens it. Once you learn to stay open without breaking, life introduces another lesson: trust. Not the easy kind that shows up when everything is working, but the kind that's required when things fall apart without explanation. Because there will be moments when life rearranges itself without asking your permission. Plans dissolve, doors close, paths you were certain about suddenly disappear, and in those moments it feels like chaos. But chaos is often just order you don't recognize yet. We want life to make sense on our timeline. We want clarity before commitment, assurance before action. But growth rarely works that way. Sometimes you have to move without seeing the whole map. Sometimes you have to lose what you wanted to make room for what you were meant for. And that's hard to accept when you've done everything right, and things still don't go your way, but life isn't punishing you. It's positioning you. There is a hidden intelligence at work in every setback, every delay, every unexpected turn. You may not see the pattern now, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. Think about how many moments in your past felt like endings, only to later reveal themselves as beginnings. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What felt like loss was alignment. What looked like failure was preparation wearing a disguise. Trust doesn't mean pretending things don't hurt. It means believing that hurt isn't meaningless. It means understanding that just because the road gets rough doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. Sometimes it means you're finally on the right one. Life has a way of removing what you've outgrown, even when you're still holding on. So when things don't make sense, resist the urge to panic. Stay present, stay faithful to your values. Let the process unfold without trying to control every outcome. You don't need to see the whole picture to take the next step. You just need the courage to trust that there is a picture. Because one day you'll look back and realize the disorder was deliberate. Nothing in your journey was random. It was all alignment. After trust comes a turning point, a quiet but powerful shift in perspective. It's the moment you stop asking life to explain itself and start asking yourself how you're going to show up. Because as long as you're looking for someone or something to blame, you're giving your power away. Blame might feel comforting for a moment, but it keeps you stuck. Responsibility, on the other hand, moves you forward. Taking responsibility doesn't mean denying pain or pretending the circumstances were fair. Some things that happen in life are undeniably hard, unexpected, even unjust. But strength isn't built by arguing with reality. It's built by responding to it, The moment you ask, "What is this shaping in me?" instead of "Why is this happening to me?" you reclaim control over your growth. Life will always bring challenges. That part is guaranteed. What isn't guaranteed is how you'll respond. You can let hardship turn you into a victim of circumstance, or you can let it turn you into a student of life. One mindset drains you, the other develops you. And the difference between the two is ownership, owning your attitude, your choices, and your actions, even when the situation itself is out of your hands. There's a quiet dignity in taking responsibility. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek validation. It simply does the work. It shows up consistently, even when motivation fades. It understands that waiting for perfect conditions is just another form of delay. Growth happens when you decide to act with intention, not excuses. And here's the truth most people avoid. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You rise to the level of your habits. Responsibility is built in the small decisions: how you speak to yourself, how you handle disappointment, how you treat others when no one is watching. Those moments define who you become far more than the big breakthroughs ever will. So don't ask for life to get easier. Ask for the courage to get better. Don't wait for clarity before taking responsibility. Take responsibility, and clarity will follow. The moment you own your response, you unlock your power. And then, one day, almost without warning, perspective arrives. Not as a loud revelation, but as a quiet understanding. You look back on the seasons that nearly broke you, the nights you questioned yourself, the moments you thought you were falling behind, and you realize something shifted along the way. You're standing differently now, thinking differently, carrying yourself with a calm that wasn't there before. That's when it hits you. You were being prepared. Every challenge you endured was expanding your capacity. Every delay was strengthening your patience. Every disappointment was sharpening your discernment. Life wasn't stacking weight on you to see if you'd collapse. It was training you to carry more than you ever thought you could. The pressure didn't arrive to defeat you. It arrived to develop you. The things that once overwhelmed you don't have the same power anymore. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You learned how to sit with uncertainty, how to trust without guarantees, how to move forward even when fear was present. And that version of you, the one forged in quiet resilience, is the one life can now trust with greater responsibility. Preparation doesn't always feel purposeful while you're in it. Often, it feels like confusion, repetition, or struggle without reward. But nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the failures, not the time it took longer than you planned. Every experience was adding something essential to who you were becoming. Even the moments you thought were setbacks were teaching you skills you'd need later. And here's the beautiful part. You didn't have to become someone else to rise, you just had to grow into who you already were. Strength wasn't added to you, it was revealed. Layer by layer, moment by moment, life was shaping you into a steadier, wiser, more grounded version of yourself. So when you look ahead now, you don't move with the same urgency or fear. You move with trust, because you know that whatever comes next won't arrive randomly. It will arrive because you're ready. You didn't survive the struggle by accident. You were trained by it.